as being like that weird time when you don't know what the hell you're doing or whatever. The weeb version, okay, let me phrase that. The California weeb version of that is the time between Fanime and AX. It's a bit longer, obviously, it's a month, but still, like, I'm in the middle of that where I don't really want to do anything because I know AX is coming up, but we're not doing anything at AX. AX sucks. Hey everyone, I'm Manuel, AX, your friendly AX hater, and joining us tonight is Janet.
Howdy, howdy.
Oh, by
It's
the way, oh, go ahead.
no, it's Janet. It's Texas summer. It's hot. It's rainy, and it sucks.
You're a resident Texan. You go to Buc-ee's and you use their
I don't
giant bathrooms.
like the nearest Buc-ee's. Well, I guess the nearest one's like 30 minutes from my house now. And I will say this: their bathrooms are genuinely nice.
Yeah,
Every s-
I didn't know that.
like their bathrooms, men's and women's, both have probably 70, 80, 100 stalls.
Yep.
The newer ones have little lights over the top so you know which ones are open, and every single one of them has a door that opens outward from the stall, not inward. They all have doors that go all the way to the floor, and there's no gap, so you can't see into the stall.
My
And
favorite.
all of them are wide enough that you could put a walker in them, and they all actually have like the grab bars. And I'm like, wow, surprisingly, extremely like accessible bathrooms.
Yeah, I
All
actually.
my huh? Go ahead.
Hi, JD, disembodied voice here for those watching. I stopped at one on my when I was moving across country, and it was
Oh,
yeah. I think I posted about this because I got a kolache there as well. But yeah, it was a very decent like truck stop, gas station. Like
They are not truck
they're not
stops.
trucks, but like pit stop
They,
gas station.
yeah,
they
it's
apparently. I learned a lot about them recently because I went down a rabbit hole because I saw a TikTok about the bathrooms, and apparently they I don't want to say that they ban truckers. I don't know if they actually do,
no, they
but
they do.
they discourage truckers for sure
They
at the least.
100%. Like there are signs everywhere. No 18 wheelers, no big rigs, and there are verified reports of any even just a big rig with no trailer trying to pull into there being essentially told to leave.
To get out before we have issues.
There's
But
no showers, there's no
yeah,
seating inside.
I
Like
find it weird that that all the Buc-ee's love I've heard, I only found out about the bathrooms recently. And apparently they're kind of known for that, and not just like they're kind of known, but like the marketing is about that. Apparently they have like signs where it's like hold it a little longer kind of thing.
oh man, like have you never seen a Buc-ee's billboard?
See, I didn't know this. I had friends who rave about Buc-ee's and like the particular snacks they have. That they have like a their own
Beaver
dedicated
nuggets.
the beaver nuggets, the barbecue they have.
Their
Um,
barbecue's surprisingly good. Some of the best jerky you can get.
but nobody ever mentions the bathrooms until like I saw.
Because everyone just knows.
Yeah, and and I guess that would be a weird thing to add if you're just having a casual conversation. It's like, yeah, and they have amazing bathrooms. But I've had some shitty, like, honestly, literally shitty gas station bathroom experiences in my life. So I look forward to seeing a Buc-ee's one day.
Come visit. We'll go. It's half an hour away.
I'm sure they have shot glasses. I want a shot glass. That's a random thing to say, but I've been back to collecting souvenir shot glasses again.
Dude,
And
they got everything. You can get like a Bucky's Kigu.
yeah, I was supposed to say, 'cause I saw there's a lot of Buc-ee's branded stuff, and I'm like, they had to have shot glasses. I want a shot glass.
Oh, they got Bucky. They know what they're about. Every location outside has a Bucky the Beaver like little statue.
Take your selfie with the
Yeah,
Buc-ee.
you have
Yeah,
to. It's the
I
rules.
think I even have one of those, Manuel.
I was gonna say, like, I hope you got one, JD. Like, dude, I'm so upset because there was a point when I did go through Texas, and I saw a Buc-ee's, and it didn't occur to me to stop at it, and now I just hate my life. My life has been downhill since then.
Yeah.
Not exactly wrong. But yeah, Bucky's aside, it's
Because you didn't ask Bucky for his blessing.
And Manuel, I
Would
checked. You
you?
can buy a Bucky's
Huh?
shot glass online for like $10.
Oh, really? I
You
bought
should have
a.
just told me. I would have sent one because I finally sent your hot and ready
Oh, you
necklace.
did? Nice. Uh, Later on, if I remember, I'll show you the shot glass I got. Well, let me rephrase that. I show you this glass I got. I don't think I told either of you, but I was going crazy about it yesterday. I went on Temu and I saw that Temu had uh a Sun Wukong shot glass, and it was described as a shot glass, and I ordered it, and it gets here, and this fucker is not a shot glass. It's like I guess somebody was telling me this. Well, and I kind of reckon this too. It's kind of the size of a shot glass when you're drinking like soju or shochu out of, or like rice wine of any kind. Like it's big. It's like 4 ounces, and it's like and for those who don't know what a shot is, a shot's about 1.5 ish to 2. So this is at least double a shot. And I'm like, yeah, every shot's gonna kill me now. Nice. I'll
Like
show you,
you weren't already pouring doubles.
dude. I hate that like whenever I'm at a con, and this will be the segue, I guess. Whenever I'm at a con and we're partying, I have to be very careful about when I start drinking because I have to pregame a little before everyone comes back to the room or like and starts drinking too, because they'll all, admittedly, rightfully so, want to drink with me. And the thing is, like, I have friends who will get like plastered on like 5 or 6 shots, right? 6 shots is a warm up to me. So we're on different levels. I need to have like 10 shots before anyone shows up, and then I'll start. But yeah, my point is maybe the shot glass will be the a hidden boon. I'll just take mad doubles every time. Manuel wakes up. Time to start drinking.
That's
No,
my perfect interpretation of you.
you don't even know. I've really calmed down. I was talking to some friends of mine recently. I actually kind of miss those days, my younger days, when like I'd wake up and it's like I'd wake up like a friend of mine in the room is like, you know what time it is? It's like they would look at me like shot o'clock, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
Hello,
you,
Jordan.
Adam, and New Eve had some wild parties, Manuel.
Oh, it's good times. It's good times. I didn't. I was good at Fanime. It's funny because Janet was talking about going to what con was it? You Level Up Expo where you got like drunk on the show floor and everything.
Well, yeah, because they were just selling alcohol on the show floor.
But like at Fanime, I was good. Like we did interviews and panels and everything, and I was sober for everything. And admittedly, part of the reason why was that everything was sandwiched together schedule wise. Like it was perfectly scheduled early in the day. So I was like, I'll just do everything, be done by 5 or 6, then drink. So yeah, I was good. I actually did like there's no I remember every panel. There's no crazy stories of Manuel like having to be carried to one like drunk as fuck. Even the 18 plus panel, it came almost immediately after a long regular panel, so I couldn't be drunk for the 18 plus one either. So everyone got to see like the very rare occurrence of a non-slurred speech Manual talking about like 18 plus topics. I don't know if that's good or bad. I did party hard as fuck though. It was like good balance. But part of me was like, you should have partied more, Manuel. You should have partied more. I don't know. How was A-Kon? A-Kon? ASEN? No, you
A-Kon,
A-Kon.
A-Kon.
ASEN.
Ason's the one in Chicago.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with A-Kon is it is currently being held at the Irving Convention Center, and it is too big for that convention center. And most of the hotels are at least a 7 to 10 minute walk away in the Texas heat.
It doesn't have like a really close connecting one.
It has two of them. One of them, I think, only has like 75 to 100 rooms. And the other one is like immediately booked because that's also where they book like all the guests and stuff.
Yeah, like when we came back from Fanime is like it's a big convention center, and then there's two separate hotels that are like right like literally connected, like they're like on opposite like towers at the end. And the Marriott, it's a Marriott in Hilton. The Marriott is 26 floors. Well, 25. There's no 13th. So it's 25 floors. And that fucker, I hate that elevator because there's times I get in it, and it's like the oldest. Like, okay, it's not old, but it's just like not a modern elevator, so it's rickety. It's a bit more rickety. Every so often, like, do you know what elevator con is, Janet? Have you experienced elevator con?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, elevator con, for those who aren't in the know, is when like it's usually at night and you're trying to get to your hotel, but there's like a line to use the elevators, or like other fuck shit where just like you're waiting for the elevators forever. You're kind of like squeezing people into an elevator. The common trick to combat elevator con is to go up and then come back, or to go down and up, or up and down. Go the opposite way you're going. But
You get on the elevator that opens to you, and you will get off eventually.
But what I hated was every so often, if I was trying to go down, because we were on the 5th floor, I would go all the way up. And I don't know why I don't think I'm scared of heights anymore, even though I don't see the heights. But I would hate it once we're at the 26th floor. I'm like, if this fucking rickety elevator drops, I'm dead. We're all dead.
Yeah, no, our biggest thing was, at least it wasn't rainy this year, because it was a real worry that my hotel was like a 7-minute walk, and it was a nice Marriott, but it was a 7-minute walk each way in like 90-degree, 60% humidity heat. And there was no way around it. There wasn't a shuttle. It wasn't cloudy. It wasn't that breezy. It was just hot.
I honestly don't know if I
I
would go if
just
it was a 7-minute walk. Like that's a funny limit I'll take. But I'm like, unless it was an AX or something, and even an AX, like we're at the
And it's just
JW.
it's so weirdly frustrating that they signed a contract with this convention hall that they are way too big for. It was less bad this year than last year. Last year it was an absolute nightmare to even try and move around. This year actually felt better, but it, like, they're like, "Oh, and we'll be back next year at the Irving Convention." And I'm like, "You can't. Like, are you gonna do something to do shuttles to some of the further away hotels, or are you just going to watch your attendees literally bake?"
I can't
Uh,
tell if their numbers are in turnstile or unique, but they seem to have about 30 to 40,000.
no, that's unique. That is.
But I don't know. That's kind of a lot.
Oh,
Um,
I mean, A-Kon is the oldest convention in North America,
well,
and
it's funny. It's funny you say that because like before we were live, I was telling stories about the a friend of mine who like was a staffer at AX or whatever, but that staffer friend, I mean the original AX, that staffer friend was going on about the whole argument between A-Kon and like A-Kon and AX. It's because I'm sure you know this already. The first Anime Con or Anime Expo was called Anime Con and not Anime Expo.
well, that's
Even
their bad then.
and everyone will agree that it's the same convention the next year, but they changed. But because the first year it was branded by like it was sponsored. I forgot who the fuck the company was. It was sponsored by like this anime company at the time, and because I guess they own the IP to Anime Con, which is like such a generic or trademark, which is such a generic thing. I don't know how the fuck they got that, but anyway, they had to change the name to Anime Expo, but it still predates A-Kon. Hey, we
I
had this
mean,
argument all down.
does it really matter when AX is the bigger deal?
I mean that is true. It's like
Like,
they,
let
they
A-Kon
still
have
won.
this. It
They
is
still
a
won.
nightmare that is always on the verge of bankruptcy.
I know, like the past few years, the past years before the pandemic, which is funny to say because it's like you would think the pandemic was the thing that caused it. No, 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 no. The pandemic probably saved it, I think, because the past years before that, it was always like it got sold like twice in like those 5 or 6 years or
I,
whatever.
I will still defend most of the Fair Park year, because you know what? The worst part was that it was outside.
Yeah.
If it was November, it actually would have been fine. And I guess the fact that we didn't actually have panel rooms, but like the expo hall was massive.
You
Was
didn't have
so
panels.
big. So instead of, they didn't really have, because it was just at the fairgrounds, what they did for panel rooms was they took one of the buildings, and instead of having closed off rooms, they just kind of put curtains in
Oh my god.
between
Okay. It's
things, and it was just you could just hear everything.
There's a convention. It's called LA Comic Con now. It used to be called Stanley's Kamikaze, and it was just called just. I think it was always Stanley's Kamikaze. I think even the first year was still branded Stanley. Um. Anyway, that original con, its first year was the only time I'd ever seen what you're describing. It was insane. I remember, and theirs was worse because theirs, the exhibit hall, the artist alley, and the panels were all in the same giant um room at the LA Convention Center, and the panels were just curtained off around the rim. And then the middle was like, the exhibit hall and the artist alley, and it was just impossible to
So the
travel.
wild thing about Fan Expo, and I don't know if it's true for Fan Expo in other locations, but Fan Expo, at least the Dallas one, which is in the Kay Bailey Convention Center, they have their big exhibit hall out on the floor. They have their main panels just curtained off to the side of the exhibit hall. And like they have like Hollywood people doing stuff
It's
at a
almost
main panel. I'm like, what are
it'd be like
you
the sound
doing?
bleed, like the sound, even sound bleed. It's just there's nothing,
And like the
there's
thing
nothing
is
blocking
that
the.
I know that they also rented out some of just the rooms. Go put them in a room.
I remember in that very first Kamikaze, I saw Mark Hamill because he was there promoting this movie called Sushi Girl. Pretty terrible movie, by the way, but it's still like he was in this movie, and this is obviously this is long before the sequels were even like a glint on the horizon. And I remember when I went to go to Mark Hamill's panel, where he mainly talked about the movie, but obviously people were mainly asking about like Batman shit of all things. It was so empty. It was it was one of those curtained off areas, and I think it could have held maybe 60 people, 50, a little more than 50, and there was like 20 people there for Mark Hamill, and I'm like, wow. I think this dude, even back then, this dude cost like 10, like five. He was like five-figure like con guest, and I'm like, I'm sure Kamikaze did not get their money back for this. For just
uh
the Mark Hamill alone. But I don't know, maybe he was there on the promotion for the movie thing. I actually have
maybe.
a signature. He when I bought Sushi Girl from the booth, I was excited because like Tony Todd was there and Noah Hathaway, the dude Atreyu from Neverending Story. This was like his first
Oh,
like acting gig as an adult.
okay. Noah Hathaway, not Hathaway Noah, the Gundam character.
No, Noah Hathaway, the Atreyu, and not the screamo emo band. No, Atreyu the boy. But it was Noah Hathaway, Tony Todd, Mark Hamill, and I'm sure like other name actors who also signed the DVD. Who actually the Blu-ray, who I just I didn't recognize at the time, and I don't know who the fuck they are. But yeah, and everyone knows Tony Todd, Candyman. But anyway, I forgot what I was getting on with this. Cons panel rooms. That's ridiculous.
So yeah, one of the bigger problems with the A-Kon or with the Irving Convention Center, it's a beautiful building. It is so empty for how big it looks. The first floor, is where they keep the dealers hall, and I think they cut down on dealers this year, so there was actually some space.
Nice.
There is no second floor. It is literally just more escalator to get up to the third floor, where they have some panel rooms and some other stuff, but like the panel rooms hold maybe 60 people each. And even if we said, oh, A-Kon inflated their numbers by double, even if you said 15,000 people are there, how do you expect anyone to go to panels? They can't. It's a nightmare. But I will say,
Mm-hmm.
it's next door to the Toyota Music Factory, which is actually a really nice uh, concert venue.
Oh, is that where the
That
concerts were?
Yeah, and that's where they actually put the concerts. So all the concerts were at least at a really nice, proper concert venue instead of just being, like in some ballroom in a hotel. No, they were on a stage. They actually had good sound. They actually had, the big LED screen so people in the back could see people. Um, I was taking my photos, and I'm really glad I remembered to take my earplugs with me because I was like literally in between speakers. Bass, shaking so hard I could feel like my nose hairs shaking. I'm like, I hate this actually.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, it was a blast. It was also 4 hours straight. and it was
I don't know about concerts like that. I'm too old for that.
well, it's because they crammed all of them
I
into
know.
one night, and that's probably the way to do it.
I mean, it
And they were
is,
also
but
selling tickets to non-A-Kon attendees even. They were
oh,
like,
that's
"Hey,
weird.
I mean, I'm not against it because there were people that I knew that weren't going to A-Kon that maybe would have want to see some of these bands. And like the tickets weren't even that bad. They're like, "Hey, $40 and you can come see this." And I'm like,
I
"That's
mean,
actually
that's
not
pretty cool.
bad." You know,
Uh,
if they've got the space, because that concert venue can hold, I think, like 7,500 people.
oh my god.
It's a big
That's just,
concert venue.
um, the cool thing about Fanime is that Fanime, by the way, Fanime is in San Jose, but the San Jose Convention Center, it's big. It's big, yeah. But they also have a concert venue outside the San Jose Civic, that they put the most of the main events at, and the concert. They canceled the concert this year because it was supposed to be Keisuke Oeda. That he does like some theater shit, but he's also a musician. Like he does his own music solo. But he's like a theater person. Does a lot of like he was a part of some all male like troupe for a while. When I googled him, one of the first hits that came up was an all male version of Fruits Basket that he was in. I was like, what the fuck? But anyways, um, but Fanime is like the worst. It used to be the worst kind of con because it would have the panels in one of the hotels. And you know, I just told you the Hilton and the Marriott are connected. You think that they would be there, but they're not. They were at this hotel called the Fairmont, which is like across the street, but like across the street and across this park. And then if you drove or took a shuttle about like 10 miles to the other side of San Jose, I'm not making this up, that's where you would get to the Silver Island, which is where all the 18 plus content was. And it was insane. And that was the con. Oh, and also that park I just mentioned at night, that becomes Park Con, which to this day, I don't know how that never gets shut down. Because like everyone just drinks there publicly. They set up DJ booths. There's people just selling alcohol there, like like they set up the little table. None of it's like, any permits. People are just doing it. And this is like downtown San Jose, and there's like I'm like there was so much underage drinking there. It's ridiculous. Like, where are the police? Like, who? Like, how is this going on every year? It's not my scene because it's mainly just people. I was telling everyone this Fatima, and they were laughing at me. Like, it's true. It's like if I'm gonna be drinking, especially if I'm drinking that much, I'm gonna want to be near a toilet that's not a porta potty. Namely,
Right?
the one in the room, my hotel room. Was like, fuck that shit. I'll go down and say hi to people, but unless you're coming back with me to the room, I'm going back to the room after that.
Yeah, like I want to be somewhere air conditioned and not
Yeah,
nearly as loud.
yeah, and then I'm not a big because they have DJs and it's like the type of music I don't listen to, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm out. Fuck this. One of these, I was thinking about this. I'm like, because every so often my friends would be like, "Oh, I'm at ParkCon. I'll go by afterwards," and I'm like, would I be an asshole if I called the cops on ParkCon
Yes.
Yes.
just to get my friends to come to my room?
Yes.
I
You'd be the
didn't, obviously.
worst kind of dude.
But I'm like, if I go downstairs, I'm like, oh guys, I'm gonna go grab some food, and I go to like a dark part of the hotel, and I call the cops on ParkCon, like they were giving alcohol to a child. Like,
Terrible
bro,
news, everyone. Manuel's a cop.
I was like, I could, like, I could, and I love that my reason for doing it is not actually to like help any, because there is any restriction there, but to stop any of that shit. It's so my friends will have to come to my room after that, or get
Manuel,
arrested. I don't know.
have you tried being an appealing person so that they actually want to go to your room instead of ParkCon?
No, it's like, hold on, I'm calling the police. I should have admitted this out loud. Now, if I do it next year, like, not okay. Let me phrase that. Now, if it happens
No,
next year,
I was gonna say if anyone does it.
because I swear to God, like, this year it was going on until like 4 a.m. Like, people were showing up at the room when we're still awake, but we're like winding down, and people were showing up at the room at 4 a.m. They're like, yeah, I just got a hot dog. ParkCon's still going on. It's like, what? It's fucking the sun is coming out soon. What do you mean ParkCon's still going on? But yeah, so now if it gets shut down next year, I need to be like, fucking man, you'll call the cops.
Yeah, if I hear even like a whiff of it, I'm gonna be like, it was this guy.
I'm gonna get shunned. But no, I really did think. I mean, I wouldn't have done it, but it did cross my mind as a possibility to get everyone up. It's like, man, just call the cops. It's like, got nowhere else to go. I got alcohol in my room. Come on.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out why A-Kon is kind of like stuck at the Irving Convention Center, and it might be because DreamHack, which is like a big esports event, has locked in the K Bailey.
Is the K
And
Bailey the bigger place?
it's a huge one. It's a huge convention center in downtown Dallas proper. And they had like some 50,000 people show up the same weekend as A-Kon. And I don't even know what people were doing there besides watching esports.
I mean, watching esports.
Yeah, I mean, I say that, getting ready to go travel for Evo. At least Evo's
When is that?
fun.
Is that in July?
That's first week of August, because I'll
Oh,
be
okay.
in Vegas for FanFest, and then I'll be in for Evo the week after.
Yeah, I already mentioned I'm going to Vegas for Sin City Anime. I'm excited. I I hope they accept the panels. If they don't accept the panels, I guess I'll still go because I already convinced people to go and I booked the hotel. Pretty sure they'll accept them.
If not, you're
Just
in
come here
Vegas, so
instead. Yeah, but also when you're gonna come here, we'll go Buc-ee's.
I know, but I haven't been to Vegas. I think the last time I was in Vegas was the time when you were there. Remember? Uh, I think I forgot why the fuck I went up there for that weekend, but I was really drunk, and you took us to some restaurant, and I was just pulling all this alcohol out of my pocket. You're like, Manuel, you can't drink bottles like that.
You can't bring your own bottles to restaurants. Was that also when we went downtown and we saw the big praying mantis thing and then it
Yes,
shot fire and we screamed?
yes. And I think we were like doing a video or going live or something like that. And we were waiting for. We were like, get a selfie. It's not gonna happen or whatever. But there's a video of it somewhere. Oh, I think the video got taken down because there was fucking music playing and it got claimed by YouTube, by Facebook. I mean, fuck you. Anyway, but yeah. Oh, that mantis. That was where is that mantis?
It's still there. It's still downtown.
Oh
It
shit.
still shoots fire.
I don't know. That feels a little. Even then, it felt a little unsafe. Like, oh my god. Have you ever been to the? What is it called? Let me see if you ever heard of this hotel. I'm excited because the hotel is really close to the Chinatown Plaza, the one that has the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino. You ever heard of that place?
Gold Coast? I think I used
Gold
to go
Coast.
bowling there.
Yeah. So that's where the con's gonna be. But it's kind of well, it's not nearish, but like it's a few blocks. I doubt I'll walk it. Hopefully the bus will take me there, but
You're
or an Uber.
holding it at the Gold Coast? Oh no.
And it's off the strip. I'm obviously if I'm talking Chinatown, but yeah, it's off the strip.
that sounds like it's off
It's a
off
gold.
the strip.
I
Is the
mean,
Gold Coast the sketch? Well, Alexis Park is the one that every con was doing for a while, and I hate that place.
yeah, so oh man, Alexis Park was just the worst. Gold Coast, yeah, cuz yeah, the Gold Coast is across the street from the Palms cuz I used to live down the street from the
Oh,
Palms. There was the Gold Coast and there was the Rio, and if you went a little south there was the Orleans, and the Orleans had a really good bowling alley.
also, I think I know exactly where it is now. Well, I know the area at least because I know
Yeah,
every other hotel except for
you
the
are
Gold.
going to be like a mile south of Chinatown.
Okay, yeah, so we're not
Which
that
is
close.
not that, but it's not that bad.
When I looked it up on the map, it was right there. And the plaza I want to go to is that one that I kept telling you about. Like, I hope it's still there. I haven't actually checked, but like a few years ago, they did some renovations on one of the plazas, and they put the Journey to the West statue there.
It's probably still there, man.
I'm
They
sure. I mean, it's newish.
Sweets Raku is gone. Nothing
Oh, rip.
matters.
I
Sweets
saw
Raku
other
is
friends
gone.
posting
Big
about it
Wong
too,
is
and I'm like,
gone. Nothing matters.
I don't think I went. I think we went to it and it was closed.
I think we tried to go, and we tried to go like the one day it was closed, and we went, well,
Yeah.
rip.
But
Yeah, the Gold Coast isn't bad, but it's always weird whenever I hear people say, "Oh, I'm surprised there's not more anime cons in Vegas." And it's like, it's because if there is a casino, you have to be 21 to book a room.
I didn't even think about that. That did not even occur to me.
Yeah.
The
Like
fucking hotel. I fucking hate booking hotels in Vegas because it showed me first of all the resort fees obviously, but
the
then
resort fees are becoming a thing everywhere. I had mandatory ones in Houston and in New York.
fuck. I'll be so pissed if I start seeing those in LA though. I hope they don't. I hope the GW doesn't come with one. I'm making everyone give me more money if it does. But
I already
anyway,
paid you, Manuel. You can't charge me for anything else.
oh, you're actually funny, JD. Uh, hopefully, usually anyone's not watching. So when I gave you your total, I was wrong. So you actually paid like okay. Well, to be fair, if the math was correct, it was only like $10. But because the way the math works now, everyone has to pay your like the money you didn't pay. So everyone's paying like a bit like not a decent amount more, but like more than you did. And I don't want to say the totals like live, but yeah, I didn't want
I
to
just
tell
got an early
everyone.
bird discount. What you're saying?
Yeah, apparently he did. So I was like, God damn it, because I was mad at you last time because you didn't send the money, friends and family. I think to be fair, I think you did give me the money at Con, or you gave me. Well, then you can give me the computer before, so whatever. But we didn't give. You know what I'm trying to say. But last time, I think you cost me like $10 because of that. So somehow you keep getting everything cheaper than everyone else's. So I'm like, fuck you.
I mean, $10 at least ain't the worst.
Well, I think this time he should have paid 20 more. But the way the math works, everyone else it's complicated, but everyone else is paying more than you did.
Man, you ever like stick? Like, I mean, I understand it is like con acceptable to shove a bunch of people into a room, but you ever stick way too many people into a room?
Yes,
Oh,
at AX, the Weston Bond Adventure, and if you've ever hung out with Molly, she'll tell you the story a million times. That we had 8 people. First of all, this room was like the tiniest room I've ever been in a major hotel in my life. Like I've never checked into a name hotel and that had a room this small. It was tiny and it was curved because it was the Bond Adventure and everything's in a tube. Um, and we had 8 people in it. The
oof.
only time I've ever done that many, and it would be the smallest room. And the beds, were not full. I think they were twin. So like it was 3 to a bed, and like once the people who were sleeping on the floor, once they were on the floor, like you couldn't really get up anymore because once they were sleeping, they occupied all the walking space basically.
Yeah, that was similar to my experience at MechaCon because I think there were 7 of us, but we actually moved the beds as far apart as possible, and then it wasn't as bad on the floor.
Well,
But I remember in college, one of my like roommates booked a room for OhioCon. She got a really nice 2-room suite, but she had a problem saying no to people,
oh my
and we
god.
put I think like 16, 17 people in that room.
No, no, how'd you get the keys?
We were just grouped up. You had like a
Oh,
fucking group.
you-
And like after that, I was just in charge of the room because I could say no to people.
oh my god.
And that I would keep a 2-room suite that had 6 bed spaces to like a reasonable 10.
Yeah, I've had to say no to people for AX actually, and it was kind of funny because I'm like JD not only paid less, but it's like some of my more like don't get me wrong, I would still I still feel like I owe JD a lot of favors for a lot of things, so I don't really mean this, but I'm like there's a lot more like my regular party type people who go to every con with me who are asking, and I'm like man, I would suck to get JD if I was able to.
Yeah, but Manuel, if you have me, you have someone you know is not going to get drunk, so I can keep you from all doing terrible things when I'm in the room.
Or you can just watch and go, huh.
That too. I will be recording this year for content.
Yeah, the fucking that year at the Bond Adventure, the thing that Molly always talks about is one of the mornings. It's actually don't get me wrong, that was not the first or the last time we did this, but that was one of the cons where I would wake up and I had my partner in crime, Jordan, who I think you have met on a podcast. Both of you have. Um, he, I would wake him up. It's like what time it is. Well, we weren't the ones who invented it, but we were the ones who brought it to our little friend group. The whole shot o'clock thing. And it's like, what time it is? Like, shot o'clock, shot o'clock. And we just look at each other sometimes, like, shot o'clock, shot o'clock, like that. And we got wasted, like, wasted. No food in our systems at like 8 a.m. And he went to go take a shower, passed out in the shower, kind of. but so we didn't drown. He turned the water away from him and flooded the bathroom. And Molly was so mad at me at that time. I remember, like, yeah. And at the time, I was like, oh shit, like no one's gonna talk to me. And to be fair, at the time, I was kind of like, ooh, Molly wanted her money back. Everyone was yelling, and like, we were also there was 8 of us in the room, so a big chunk of the room were actually related to Jordan. Like one of them was his cousin, you know, and like her significant other and so on. So they felt bad for Jordan, and they felt bad that I was getting all the blame for it. And it was a whole issue all around.
When
That was fun though. I mean, it's a funny story now.
when like one of the years for OhioCon when I was in college, every time we'd swing by the front desk of this hotel we stayed at, someone would ask for 2 more pillows, and by the end of the weekend we had like 50 pillows in the room.
Were you building a
No,
fort in there?
Yeah. One dude, no joke, built a fort in the corner, and that's where he slept for all 3 days, and he's like, this is the best. He got super drunk, and he's like peeking out from his little corner fort, throwing socks at people.
I remember last Fanime, they put us in the Hilton because like we have like a press block, and the really weird way we booked the room, like we just asked the block what we want, what our preference are, I mean to say, and they put us in one of the main hotels. So we were in the Hilton last year, and because it was through this, I couldn't put special requests, so they didn't see my request about being on the like on a floor with the ice machine, for drinking purposes. So our floor didn't have an ice machine that we were first booked into, and I'm like,
Is
know
that
what?
legal?
Yeah, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change the room because it was day 0. Like the hotel's not booked yet, like booked up yet. And I'm like, I'm just gonna change the room. And I went downstairs. Like, can you put us in another room? And they did, but they let us keep our old keys. And so once we moved all of our stuff to the new room, mind you, I'm sure they forgot. But once we moved to the new room, it's like, let's go back to the other room and just take everything. We did. I don't know what we were thinking. In retrospect, I'm surprised I didn't get charged for this. Because I'm sure just like we just stole everything. We went down and like took everything that wasn't tied down. We took like the cups, we took the coffee, we took like the bottle, the complimentary water they had. We took all the pillows, like we took a lot of shit. And we were gonna take the chair, but we just thought that would be too conspicuous to go into the elevator with the chair. But yeah. Should we have done to take the chair? I'm like, we're gonna put someone in it and just like, oh, he hurt himself, and this is the way we're transporting him. Like, hurry up, gotta get in the fucking elevator. And we took like 2 trips for this, and the key still kept working. I don't know if they came to clean the. They had to come to clean the room again, because imagine if someone else got booked in there. It's like everything's gone. Like someone stripped the room.
Is this how the rooms come in this hotel?
Yeah, nothing. You bring everything yourself. Oh, there was some good. Yeah. Party at cons is great. Did you party at all at A-Kon? Or was it too hot?
A little bit. I mean, I was definitely like just drinking on the show floor.
Oh
Was
my god.
drinking at concerts. It is not hard to sneak alcohol in, especially if you have like a press or a panelist badge, even with a bag check.
Well, I remember back. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. Oh, by the way, this is the way JD's finding out. The AX finally like gave us officially the no for this year press. But I don't see when else gonna change in the foreseeable future because of the way they're run. But anyways, there was one AX where me and a staffer, who I won't name because I think they still staff it. I don't want to get them in trouble. We snuck in all this alcohol to the concert, and we took it to the press lounge because the press lounge has like it's AX, so it's like sea of human beings everywhere, right? Except for the press lounge where it's empty. You're alone in the bathrooms. It's freezing up there because there's not all these bodies eating up all the AC. So we went up there and we drank in the bathrooms, and then we poured it into like smaller cups, and then we drank it in like the press area where you sit down. And yeah, now AX is never inviting us again. I blame Manuel for bad mouthing them all day. They didn't know I bad mouth. Technically, this isn't bad mouthing them. I'm saying that that we had a good time at AX. Drunk.
Yeah, it is getting so weirdly hard. Like even putting all of that aside, like cons are getting weird about press, and I don't know if it's that too many people faked press for too long, or they're just like traditional press is dying. Influencers only.
I'm not gonna lie, like, well, I don't think we ever were like faking it A to J. I mean to say, but back in the day, I remember I'll never forget that I was so scared to apply for press in A to J's first year because I was like scared of rejection. I don't know why I was like whatever, but like but I was scared of rejection. And then I realized that they would pretty much accept anyone. Even though cons would have this, and they still do. Most cons have this rule that your outlet has to be together for a year. Um, whatever. We went to press that first year all over the place. That was probably our busiest year. Um, so there was a point where things were easier. I do think in AX's case, no, it doesn't matter. I'll spill some of the beans. They outsource just about everything. This isn't even because my friends who run the karaoke thing, there are having a similar issue because like they outsource karaoke to someone else, but still like pretending that they're involved.
Ugh. Yeah,
Uh,
and I've heard some issues from friends of a friend who like do DJ stuff and
yeah,
just
everything because like I'm not sure if it's money, like not money as in like they don't have enough. I mean, as in they have too much, and they just don't want to do anything themselves. Even staffing, like I don't think they do volunteers anymore. And to be fair, I think they did that even before the pandemic.
well, yeah,
But
and that's probably not a bad thing to no longer do.
but even staffing has been mostly cut down, and they hire staffers, like as in like from a temp agency kind of thing. Um, and but press has been outsourced to like a media company, like an outside media company that like does press.
Yeah.
And one of the issues, and mind you, the annoying part about getting denied this time was that they were so nice, and like I actually know someone within the outlet, not the outlet, but the company, because they also handle like Yoshiki and like other Japanese artists and whatever. And we were going back and forth, and I had to explain to them that traditionally a con allows 4 press badges, which was unheard of to them. They were like, we're giving 1 or 2 an outlet unless you're like this traditional huge thing. And I'm like, I see how that makes sense, but like, have you ever been to a convention? you know? Like fucking Comic Con gives 4. It's like fucking literally every other con gives 4, and sometimes we even sneak in more.
And it's not like
And what are they?
AX couldn't afford it.
I I don't even know. It's
I
weird. It's annoying.
AX feels every year less like a convention and more just like the anime version of what San Diego Comic Con
Well,
has become.
I told this before, or I've told people this before, not you directly, Janet, but like I've mentioned this in like past podcasts. I think AX is bigger than Comic Con. Um,
Probably.
it's just that they count differently. Comic Con does turnstiles, that's why they have 200,000, but AX counts unique, and that's why they have 120. Um, and usually the turnstile number is like, I mean, sorry, the unique number is about 60% of the turnstile. So AX probably has about 210,000 or 220 turnstile. Nobody knows that they don't report turnstile; they only report unique. But they're probably bigger than Comic Con. They are definitely as big at this point. Like, no ifs
Yeah.
ands or buts. You're in the same league. Um, but why did I bring that up? Oh, because like Comic Con like doesn't act like this, but AX seems to be like think that they're hot shit or whatever. I don't know.
Well, and
Comic
I
Con
mean,
doesn't.
but the thing is that it becomes like this weird cyclical thing. Like AX thinks it's hot shit, and then they bring over all of the hot shit, and they get all of the,
At this point,
U.S. exclusive
yeah.
announcements, and then it just keeps becoming this thing. Like I tried to explain this to like people from the Ikebana International National Board. I'm like, there are going to be anime conventions and other fan-run conventions that will have panels that are run by fans, and then there will be conventions that are clearly professionally run, that are clearly more of a media expo than they are necessarily fan gatherings. And
Yeah,
AX is rapidly becoming the expo part.
I don't know. I just find it funny. It's like, especially like talking to like that friend of mine I mentioned at Fanime, and I'm like, obviously none of the people who started AX are around or around AX anymore. Funny enough, most of them are still doing conventions, just not AX. Um, so I just find it weird. Like, remember when this was like a thing for the fans, like to have fun and not just like this super corporate event.
Yeah.
A-
Like,
and also, I don't know if you knew this or if most people knew this, but AX did have an industry event that would run concurrently, or actually before, like similar to E3. It would happen before AX. It was called Project Anime, and I don't think they do that anymore. I think it just rolls into AX now. Um, so yeah, it's stupid. Everything's stupid.
yeah, like I don't know why AX still bothers with like an artist alley at this point, because no
Oh,
one in
no.
years has said anything good about the artist alley.
No, they always put it in the worst place with the worst ventilation, pack everyone like crazy, and I always hate going.
Yeah,
Funny
just
enough, though, it's cheaper than most other artist alleys are comparable, which is weird.
it's to make up for the fact that it's bad and no one wants to
Yeah, I
go.
guess that's why they're like,
But yeah, it's
we'll
like
charge you cheaper to have
AX
you.
should just, at this point, AX should just drop all pretenses. Just accept that what they are at this point is a corporate event that fans can attend, much like San Diego Comic-Con, and just roll with that. And then everyone's expectations can change accordingly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm still gonna try to go every year, if not for any other. Like I was talking to a friend of mine about this. Like, at least for my reason, I'll probably leave the hotel a lot more this year, but because a lot of the one of the big things about AX is that like because it's so big, fuck the guests, fuck the con, fuck the whatever. Because it's so big, it does bring out like a lot of weeps from around the country to like one spot. So I get to hang out with a lot of my homies who I don't see that often, or even just the LA people,
Yeah.
or like JD. First seen X out again. Shut up, JD. Um, I never. I actually hate going to A. I hated going to A. I liked covering AX. It was always good content and it was always fun. But I never liked going. I remember the last year we were there as press 2019. Um, I was in the hall and I was just like, "Oh my god, it's so crowded. I do not want to be here. I want to go. I want to go back to the hotel and relax." And I remember like the other year when I mentioned that we were drinking in the press area. Part of the reason was because I would go to the press area just to like kill time between things. Like, man, I am not gonna go down to the sea of people. And going to panels is such a mess. You don't even know what it's like at AX. They used to empty out rooms. I'm glad they don't anymore because like it gets rid of a lot of the lines. But now it's like that Hall H. Is that what it's called? I forgot what it's called at Comic Con. It's like that hall where like you just go in the morning and never leave to see all the good shit.
Yeah, you stake your claim and
Never leave.
hope you
But I don't
packed a
know.
lunch.
Also, we're in the JW, and the JW has some events there, and not that I condone this, but I will say that you could typically just sneak into most of those at the hotel. Manuel gets ejected from the JW. but JD got the badge, so he's what. Actually, I think everyone I'm rooming with has a badge, which sounds like an obvious thing to say. I'm just gonna be there's no Stranger Things for me to watch this year, so I'm gonna just be sitting mostly by myself in a very expensive hotel room until people want to come over and drink at night.
Can't you at least hang out at the pool or something? Jeez, that sounds sad.
No, he's just gonna
I
be in
mean,
the room watching what?
yeah,
Full Metal Jacket again.
I'm not even joking. I'm probably gonna just sleep in, and I mean mad sleep in, and then just order a pizza and then go watch something until someone shows up.
Man, you
Because
could
like
stay at home and do that.
even the local areas are too busy. It's like I hate going to Little Tokyo during AX because it's like all the fucking out of town weebs think that's like that's like culture to them. They'll show up to like the overpriced ramen places with their manga and their cosplay. It's just like, look, I'm absorbing the culture. Sorry, I get really annoyed when people go to Jap. You see that a lot in torrents. I hate when like the kids go to like the ramen places with their manga.
Doc, like I live in Koreatown. You like there's a Kinokuniya literally next door to me. You don't think I just like witness this every weekend?
Oh, it's one of my minor pet peeves. Anyways, yeah. AX, I don't know. I'm excited for Sin City Anime, and I'm excited for other cons. It's funny because like after Fanime, I realized that I really like doing panels. That's a stupid thing to say because I always like doing panels, but I got the bug in me again. So when I was looking up Sin City Anime, its big thing was like I just want to like go to another con where people come to a room and like don't leave. I'm gonna talk your ear off for 90 minutes.
Right? It feels good. Like I did for A-Kon, I also did an Ikebana panel with some of the Ikebana grandmas, and we actually had a full room, which was impressive
Okay.
for Saturday at 10 a.m. Like
Oh,
that was incredible, but like my big problem was, and I don't know if you all have run into this. So the Irving Convention Center and A-Kon weren't letting people into the convention hall until 10 a.m.
oh,
They scheduled panels at 10 a.m. They made everyone go through a bag check in order to get into the building.
that's weird that they don't let people in early. Like usually you still let people in
Right?
earlier than. I mean, not just for that reason, but just so you don't have this giant mob of like people
Yeah,
just.
so like I met with the people I was doing the presentation with early in the morning so I could make sure that they got their badges and I could lead them up to the room and we could get set up. And they're just both looking at me like at this sea of people in line at like 9:30 in the morning and they're like, "Why aren't they inside?" I'm like, "'Cause they're not allowed in yet for some stupid reason."
We're allowed in, right?
Oh yeah, we were allowed in, which was, it was great. And we're all smart, so we actually have like little push carts, like the little granny grocery shopping carts. So we had those, so we also got to take the elevator.
I'm like there've been some cons, especially when we're doing 18 plus panel, where some of our panels do have like crazy full rooms. Several have had like completely full rooms, and usually what we do to get around that somewhat. I don't know if you've ever had to do this, like if this was ever an issue for you at your panels, but like I'll just bring in a lot of people. I'm like, yeah, they're all with us. They're all doing the panel. We have like this mob of like friends and friends of friends who want to come. It's like, hey, just walk in when we do.
We were so when I was back in Vegas back in February for Level Up, uh, part of the reason we were there is that it was the Level Up 10th anniversary,
I didn't
and
know.
my
Okay.
dude, they got huge. It was 45,000 people.
What the fuck?
They hit capacity at one of the Las Vegas Convention Center halls, and that's where they hold CES.
That's weird because like every anime con I've been to in Vegas has that very small town con feel.
I think it's because Level Up is a bit broader, and I think it's also because it's like held in the off season, and the only
That
other
is
convention happening around that time is Katsucon. And hey, if you don't want to go to Baltimore in the winter, come to Vegas.
yeah. The East Coast sucks, right?
But so one of my friends is one of the staffers, and there was this huge line to get in because it was just thousands upon thousands of people, and they were doing like metal detector checks. And anytime we left, it was literally just like, oh, call him and he'll get us. And we were getting ready to go back inside and literally ran into him. He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Is there anyone else with you? I have to get like 6 more people." And he just brings in like 20, 25 people with him at a time. He's like, "They're with me. It's
that sounds
fine."
right. That's like I said, that's what we do. I remember when I was doing the JAV panel at ALA this year. It was the year that I died at the con. Like I was like wondering if I was gonna go home, and I wasn't gonna do the ALA panel at all. I told the story in an earlier UPZ, and then like Angie came and I decided to go, and um when I left. I left all my stuff in the room because I didn't know I was gonna leave. I just decided like, oh, my shoes are here. I'm dying, but I'll put them on and let's just go. And even like snacks at my laptop. So we already. I'm like, I'll just walk as I am. And like my wallet was just sitting in the room. By the way, just full of money. Everyone could have just robbed me then. But like, but the important thing about my wallet being there was I had no ID. And I know I'm clearly over 18. But I'm like, if they card me for my own panel, I can't get in. It's like I'm like I'm like guys, this was we have to walk in extra with like force, even though I'm like pale and sweating like crazy. We have to just pretend like yes, we need to be here. Just let us through, let us through, kind sir. But yeah, I don't know. This year I did two music panels back to back, like not back to back, but like on separate days. And it was 80s and 90s J-pop, and I did it by myself. It was the first time I'd ever paneled by myself. Well, I didn't. These panels the first time I ever paneled by myself. I mean to say, and everyone really liked them. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me wonders if because I was sober for them, but like because I was sober for them, and I knew all of
Surprise!
the. But people really liked them. People went to both, and there was even a couple people, one lady in particular who was all like, "Oh my god, your panels made my con," and part of me was all like, I feel like that's a good compliment, but part of me was also like, "Damn, you must be having a shitty con." Like, thank you, but please have a better time.
But please,
Yes.
there are other things here.
Yeah, she said that they really made her con, and it was funny because like um yeah, they went over really well, and I remember like there was another potential panelist who, when I was publicizing the panels, um, through the Facebook groups, they were all like, "Oh, so you're the reason why they canceled my two-part series on like J-pop or whatever." And I'm like, someone else had the same idea. Uh, but nepotism. Well, I mean, we like I mentioned it there, and like one of the ladies was all like, "Oh, you said you did like 130 pounds, which isn't an exaggeration, by the way."
Yeah.
It's like you said you done over 130 pounds. It's like, wow, it really shows. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not drunk. That's why. I didn't say that, but but I also think it's because I know a lot of the programming staff at Fanime. They're like, oh, well, we'll do this guy's panels and not this other girl who's probably her first year.
Yeah, I mean, being a repeat panelist helps because especially if it's the same panel choosers, because they're like, oh, you showed up and did your thing last year.
Yeah,
We
I
can
don't know if
trust you.
they've noticed this, but I have this thing about me. It's like I'm very anal about this. Um, I don't think I've ever told the story on a podcast. Maybe I have. I don't know if JD can correct me if I have or haven't. But when I was younger, I had this friend of mine who did this Magical Girls panel, and I used to go to it all the time. And this is like 2009 to like 2014 ish. And I think she did it at Otakon Vegas one of the years, and I went to it there the year I met you, I think. Anyway, I went to her panel for years, whenever I was able to catch it, and it always bothered me that when she did the same panel, she did the same panel. And I do see how there's pros and cons to that. Like, obviously, she knew the material really well. But by like the third or fourth time I went, I'm like, I could get up there and do this panel with her. I don't mean this in a bad way. I just mean like I fucking know it like the back of my hand now too, you know? So because of that, because of just me, I was like, I never want other people to think that about like any A to G panel. So even when a con is like, and this used to happen a lot more in the older times or whatever, but like when there'd be a con that was like 2 weeks apart or even the next week, I would write two different versions of the same panel. And I always wonder, do you think anyone even appreciates that or notices? And I don't know. I always tell everyone, I'm like, we never do the same panel twice, but I'm like, they probably think I'm just saying that.
Yeah, like I'm running into that issue with the Ikebana panel I've done, because like it's split into a short panel and then live arrangement demonstrations, and the arrangements are always different because, well, you're working with fresh flowers and we have different people, so they're like, ooh, I'm gonna do this. But like the panel part, it's like, should I change it? Because it's like this is kind of just like the basics of what Ikebana is and how it came to be. And I don't know if I should change it if the really interesting part is now you get to see some old ladies do cool stuff with flowers.
I'm pretty sure, like, because yours is a bit more interactive, it's gonna be different no matter what you do every time, you know?
Yeah.
To some degree. Just because, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think people accept that the slideshow might be the same if they come and see it, multiple times because the flower arrangements are going to be different. I need to actually show you all the ones that we did for A-Kon because I just edited the pictures the other day.
Ikebana is so strange to me. I mean, like, literally, like, I just don't I don't understand art in general. Or visual art, I should say more specifically.
But Manuel, you were there for the first cave paintings and sand
I don't
drawings.
think I
You were
was
there to admire as the dinosaurs died as the asteroid hit. How
yes,
could
I
you
was like,
not be moved?
I saw my I saw my cave mate, you know, Ung draw that incident on the on the cave wall with like dinosaur blood or whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Anyways, but no, I don't know. That's always been my weird thing, and I wonder if we have a lot of repeat things. I started asking. Oh, and my dumbass forgot to recruit at this con. Like I got to get on that again. Um, for those that don't know, like A to J does did most of its recruiting at cons. And I think I took out all the heavy A to J promotion slides. Like I say who we are, of course, but like and I think I even had like a "We Want You." Like I think I during the idol one, I would edit an idol Uncle Sam thing, or even sometimes that would just exist, and I would just like edit that and put like "We want you to join A to G Connections," and that's how we got a lot of people. That's how we got like not technically how we got Janet, but that's how we got like Rose and other people. So yeah, Janet, Janet, I went to go drink with you, and she drank all the bottle that we brought, and I remember I was really upset.
And that is not the reason I joined A to J, which is the wild thing.
I just remember I was really upset when you did that. I was like, oh my god, who is this girl, and why did she drink the entire bottle?
I think in exchange I gave you a different bottle.
But it was still really funny. I was like, like we didn't know you at all. Like I don't think I knew you. Period. Like you were just in that room, and we went up with other people, and then like we put the
Yeah,
bottle.
because it was my room.
Oh yeah, I don't think I realized that until like the last time we talked about this story. I'm like, oh yeah, that was your room. I didn't know that. So I'm getting mad at you, and we're invading your space. I remember that was the first time I ever had Everclear, and to this day, first of all, they don't sell that Everclear anymore. The 70 whatever percent, they have the 60% now, but the 72% one with the fucking Hawaiian Punch actually masked it really well. And I've
Oh
wanted
yeah,
to
Jesse's like nightmare
yeah,
drink that is impossible to make now because it's
yeah.
so hard to find the green Hawaiian Punch.
I want to do that just. But yeah, I want to. I don't know. I want to recreate that drink, and neither component is easy to find anymore. Neither main component, I should say more accurately. The proper Everclear. Do they sell the higher proof Everclear where you're at?
I would have to go look.
I'm hoping they
Like
have it in Vegas.
we've just kind of defaulted to drinking a lot of soju at cons because you don't need to mix it and it already tastes like candy.
I just realized. Wait, hey, Byaku. I think that's Danny. But well, that's not Danny. Who is that? Anyways, Danny's Merle. Anyways, I just remembered if I'm in Vegas, they're gonna have the fucking kinkies, the kinky cocktails.
Yeah, they is.
Dude, I'm gonna get everyone wasted on those. There was one AX. That same AX where we flooded the bathroom, but days before. Um, I had brought about like 20 or 30 of them from Vegas, really, really carefully, like you know, in my bag because we were like on a bus or whatever. I brought them from Vegas specifically for AX, and me and a friend of mine, we drank like 10 of them each. Uh, and yes, that's stupid. Don't do it. Um, before some interviews. Ooh, ooh, we got so fucking wasted. And that kind of drink, when you drink that kind of shit, it hits you different, you know? I'm not sure what the science is, but it hits different. It's like getting wine drunk.
Well, yeah, it's all the sugar.
Oh, that's Tiff? Oh, hey, what's up? Badman, is
Shiana's.
that you? Who's Bat? Wait, what Tiff? The Tiffany? I
No,
remember that being your name.
this is JD. I'm the one typing. Hello.
I got laid off, man. Oh, this is Badman. That's your name? We got laid off? What do you mean you got laid off? What is happening? Who is this person? Anyways. Anyway. Yeah, keep our website free. Support us on Patreon with your laid off money. What was I saying? AX partying, yeah, Fanime's partying. I took a lot of edibles at Fanime. 1010 would recommend, also 1010 would not recommend. There was one night when I was so fucking gone, and they kept pulling the fire alarm, like literally in the fucking hotel. So mad. That's a story for the day. But they kept pulling the fire alarm. I assume some fucking weebs. Um, and I'm sitting there, fucking spaced out my mind. I don't know if the alarm is really going off or I'm just high, you know. But no, it's going off, and I'm so spaced out. Like, do we leave? Or are we dying? And like everyone was all like, "Manuel, don't let us die in the fire. You need to pull the fire alarm again." Like when it stopped, and they kept fucking with me the whole night. I was so gone.
Man,
And they,
I'm
it was
trying to
just
think
great.
of God. There was one Ohio con where someone had brought four locos into my room, and it was back when you could still get them with the caffeine in them, and it took the whole room to drink one of these cans. I think that was the same. No, it was the next year that I would like wake up at 7 in the morning, get into costume, disappear, show up drunk with like seven women, and everyone's
What the
like,
fuck?
"Where were you? Who are they?" I'm like, "These are my ladies. I
What
have
is?
been out." And that was the year that I ran into a professor from my school at that Ohio con who was also
Oh, okay. They're
very
also.
drunk. Well, because like he did like an indie comic, so he had his comic there.
Oh,
But like I ran into him in a hallway, and he had a wizard staff that was like 14 beer cans tall.
fuck.
And we're just looking at each other. He's like, "We can never speak of this." I'm like, "I don't have you for class, so I don't think it'll come up."
Like, I'm telling the school on you.
I'm like, "You're an adult. I'm an adult. What are they gonna do?"
Do you ever watch Cardcaptor Sakura? This is not as random as it sounds.
It has been a while.
Okay, so one of the panels we did was Magical Girls, and it was Magical Girls 101. Actually, that panel went swimmingly. I did so much stupid research for this panel. I watched so many shows, but I rewatched Cardcaptor Sakura, and one of the big plot points uh, is that Sakura's mom is dead. Do you remember that whole scenario?
Ye-
She was a student who Sakura's dad was teaching when they were in high school. And they got
Mm,
married when she was still in high school, and they went to school together like that. And I was like, how is this all being told as if it was the most lovey-dovey situation that ever existed? That is illegal, sir. You cannot teach there. You should not be a teacher.
I mean, is
I
that?
mean, cause
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say cause anime bad
Dude.
sometimes.
Oh, and it doesn't help that like there's a whole situation with Sakura and I can't remember her name, her best friend, Tomoyo. Uh, and they're all related. Anyway,
They're like
that shows.
third cousins.
Oh, they're cousins. Anyway, you gonna say about the parents? Because that parent shit was weird. Took me out the show when I saw that. I was like, what? Why don't we talk about this?
Couldn't suspend your disbelief anymore.
I was like, oh my god, this show is weird and it's crazy. And like, there's this episode where like she meets her grandfather, like her mom's father, and she doesn't know like I don't, as far as I know, she never finds out it's him. But that whole episode in the dub is like it comes off so creepy, and I'm like, why is her dad okay with like his daughter hanging out with this old man by herself? It's like he should know, like he should fucking know that what can go on in those situations.
I believe he
Anyway,
does know that it's her grandfather, though.
Well, I mean, he would know if he met. Oh, does he know? Yeah, because I was gonna say like I'm sure if he saw him, he'd be like, oh, hey, dad. You know, well, not his dad, but you know. Anyway,
Hello, sir.
hello,
I-
sir, who probably upset with me because your daughter married me or whatever.
though I
Rightfully so.
do believe she learned sometime who they are because her grandparents show up again in Clear Card, and
Yeah, I was
it's
about to say
then
like I
Sharon
have
getting to
not.
meet them.
I have not seen the new series, and I still haven't rewatched because I watched the first season, like 50 some odd episodes. Um, and I haven't seen the movie since they came out, so a lot of that shit's like really really fuzzy. But yeah, I watched a lot of shit. The cons, cons, con. I did that joke at some point, the con reference, and nobody knew what the fuck it was.
Oh
I'm like, am
no.
I just really old?
Yes. Dude, at A-Kon, Jesse and I were chit-chatting with some people, and Jesse said something about his back hurting, and one of them said, "I'm sorry that I'm only 23 and my back doesn't hurt yet." I was just like, "Don't be. Don't apologize for your youth. Revel in this while you can."
I was about to say a story, but I don't think I should say that live. Anyway, probably wrap this up. What's coming up? What are you doing soon?
Me?
Besides FanFest. What is FanFest? Is FanFest the Final Fantasy thing?
Yeah, that's the Final Fantasy 14 thing. My friend managed to get me a ticket as well as themselves, so gonna go to that. Then Evo is the next weekend, and I applied for press for that, so hopefully we'll have some coverage there. Working on the coverage from A-Kon. I've got some galleries for the fashion show and for the concerts. Trying to schedule some interviews, and I should have just asked Rhubarb directly.
You were like
I don't.
bringing her a TV. You should have been like,
Dude, I
hey,
brought her a TV. I brought her donuts. I brought her
no.
boba.
Should have definitely hit her. I was like, where are your artists? I want to talk to them right now.
Jesse gave Mad Kid rubber ducks.
Dude, we interviewed this Hirokatsu. I forget his last name. He was a producer on on a bunch of old Ghibli movies, like My Neighbor Totoro and um, fucking Kiki's Delivery Service and some other things. Um, in one of the panels we do, like the '80s J-pop one, I mentioned that My Neighbor Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies were released on the same day. It's like this crazy fact that's been burned in my mind ever since I found out, like earlier this year, right? And I'm like, let's ask him about it. Let's ask him like why that is. And we asked him about it. First of all, he was shocked that anyone knew that. He's like, people know that. And in case anyone's curious about what the answer is, I'll give you the fast version. Apparently, they had sold a time slot to theaters that My Neighbor Totoro was not long enough to fill. So they just had to put Grave of the Fireflies. It was an unfortunate situation. It was not like they were trying to destroy everyone, in a double feature like that. Um, but after he told us this, he
Oh,
went on. I don't
Manuel,
want to say
posture
like,
check.
oh, I did. I cracked my back. I don't know if you, if you. I like how immediately I go back to slouching. I cracked my back when it happened, but he went off on this tangent about Ghibli in general and started just talking about things. He started pulling out all this original um Miyazaki art. I don't know if I sent the picture to the chat, but like uh his manager staff people were like, oh, you can't take pictures of this, which is funny because we're doing video, but he's like, you can't take pictures of this, but like he's showing you all this original art and like sketches that Miyazaki did himself. He's like, you want to touch them? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to get my grubby little hands on this shit. And like, it's like this should be in a museum, and I'm just like touching it like nothing. Um, but yeah, it was cool. It was a really great interview. I have no idea if it's considered an interview because he took over the interview from then on, and then he started interviewing our interviewer about what she thought about Totoro and what she thought about her experiences with Ghibli, why she likes it. And then I wanted to steer the thing back to because I thought we were talking about the horror stuff he does. He does this series called Tales of Terror all over Tokyo. And then I asked him about that before he was leaving. He's like, how do you know about this? He was so shocked. And he's all like, oh, that's why, because I was wearing like a Frankenstein shirt, but it was like in Japanese. Um And he was just so amazed, like, by me. So yeah, I'm cool. I got an old Ghibli guy to think I'm cool, and I got to touch a bunch of Miyazaki art, and probably got like greasy handprints all over them. So yeah, that was my interview experience. That was I was trying to one up you because I got an interview and you didn't.
Hold on.
But yeah, it made us late to the completionist interview, which is the only bad thing.
It was just a speed run
The
of his
longest
interview manual.
Well, yeah, I was also saying, like, if we were smarter, we would have made that joke in the interview. We didn't. uh, I literally carried the cameras like as they were because it was in the room next door. I just carried them, didn't pack anything back up, and I walked in, and we interviewed the completionist, and that dude was fucking. I mean this with no like I don't mean this in a bad way, but he was clearly done with the completionist for the day. Like, you know how some people have their on and off personalities? He had turned his off. He was like, just, so yeah, gaming, like that. It was such a laid back interview. Is Janet alive? What happened?
I think she's away from
Oh,
keyboard right now.
but yeah, it was a
Am I
late.
back?
She's
I
back.
thought I was back.
Oh yeah, it was a laid
Sorry,
back
Jesse
interview.
had come home.
And he was still in the midst of playing Tears of the Kingdom. He was, I think at that time, he was 200 hours in. Because obviously he's the completionist, he's the complete it. But it's funny because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he even said by that point he'd already been beaten because some guy had speedrun a 100% completion thing already. So I'm like, bro, you fucked up. Yeah, it's
Give
like
me
you fucked.
just a second, friend.
Oh, we're about to wrap. And she gets pulled away. No. Anyways, yeah, those are interviews. Fun fact: did I tell you, JD, that Yasha hugged Hina's thigh after the interview?
Who?
The cosplayer we interviewed. She's famous because she had Yoko Taro sign her thigh. I don't know if you remember that when that went viral.
Nope.
Yoko Taro being.
I know who Yoko Taro is. I've just never ever heard of him signing someone's thighs.
She signed her thigh. He signed her thigh at some like near event, and it went crazy viral online. And I mean, she's known for other shit, but that's like one of her giant claims to fame. And I was talking to Hina about this later. A smart interviewer would have taken a picture of her hugging Hina's thigh, which was totally not why she did it. But we should have taken that picture and tried to go viral ourselves. But no, we didn't take no picture. We're stupid.
Yeah, that's why you have me, Manuel.
But yeah, TLDR. This part is in the video. I think at some point, like, she was just obsessed with Hina's thighs, like, girls liking girls kind of thing. She's just obsessed with her thighs. And when we were done with the interview and taking pictures, she's like, "Can I touch your thigh?" And we all thought that she was gonna like touch her thigh, but then she got on her knees and hugged her thigh, like, all around it. And he was like, what do we do? Like, even Hina was saying after the fact, she's like, "I was not expecting to do that either." Like, anyway,
Yeah, so
thighs.
hopefully we can have those
Thighs. All right, I'm
Thighs
back.
save lives.
interviews, uploaded,
Oh, yeah.
transcribed and stuff before
Last
next
week, yeah,
Fanime.
Yeah, we'll have the interviews up soon. My internet was crappy last week, more so than usual. I mentioned this on the Drink Talk roll. If you watched that, I apologize for my shitty quality throughout that entire show, because my internet was being really crappy all last week, so I couldn't upload anything. But the interview should be up soon, and then JD will be working on them. Hopefully, they'll be all ready to go before AX. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know, no promises. But there should be video versions up for, at the very least, the Completionist and Yasha soon. At least for patrons. Patreon.com/JJ Connections. And that's the end of our show, I guess. Let's wrap it up. Janet, you're going to FanFest. You're going there. I'm going to AX soon. And I'm
also gonna go Evo, and then I don't know what the rest of the year holds. But Manuel, you should come here. We'll go Buc-ee's.
Go to Texas one of these days. I need to go to a good Texas convention. I've only ever been to the one that we won't name.
Don't go to a Texas convention. Just come here, and we'll just yeehaw.
Well, like going for a convention usually makes it cheap. So because I have other people who hoist some of the bill.
Yeah, or you could just come stay at my house.
I mean, that actually makes a lot more sense. Then I'll just loiter and I'll just not leave. It's like, when do squatters' rights kick in? But then again, it's Texas.
They don't. This is Texas. I'll
Yeah,
shoot you.
I'll just
It's
get shot.
fine.
I'll just get shot, I'm sure. Anyway, That's the show. UPZ catch us. Oh, streams. There's actually nothing. Next stream is next UPZ next week. Is it next week that we're doing the bad movies thing with Hal? JD?
No, that's gonna be the week after for the 20th anniversary of the room.
Ooh.
Okay.
Because
Oh man,
So-
I met Tommy Wiseau once.
oh, you want to
I
be on the
met-
episode too?
Yeah,
met
sure.
him-
He ran the most efficient Q&A I have ever been to.
I met him before that. I mean, don't get me wrong. The movie has been like a cult classic, like as soon as it came out. But he was at WonderCon in like 2012 ish. And he was a lot less known back then. It hadn't really like caught on like the public zeitgeist. And I remember I had no idea who the fuck he was. Like, what the hell's the room? Who is Tommy Wiseau? Why is there like not a huge crowd? It was like a decent crowd, like as if he's like famous. So we're just waiting to meet him. And I'm like, who is this guy? And I waited too. I'm like, is he a musician? I thought he was a musician. Is he a rock star that I don't know? Because he was like, he was wearing sunglasses. He
Yeah.
was wearing sunglasses inside.
And
with,
he's
long,
got like the
curly hair.
long, messy hair.
Yeah.
Manuel,
And I'm
have
like,
you-
he's a rock star.
Have you-
I actually thought that. I thought the room was an
Yeah.
album. Anyways, what?
I'll say, have you read or listened to the audiobook version of this, the Disaster Artist?
No, does he read it? Or is he read it?
No, Greg from the movie reads it. But in like the
Oh.
opening chapter, they're getting dinner at the Palm, and he was talking about how people were like trying to figure out who Tommy is, going through their mental Rolodexes.
Oh,
Actually,
it's like
and
me.
one of the like possibilities was the drummer from Rat.
The drummer from Rat,
That's
exactly.
like, well,
Yeah,
who
there's-
knows?
there's
They
a-
could be doing a world tour, putting out a greatest hits album or something.
There's a framed Tommy Wiseau like headshot in my office right now.
Oh my god. Like yeah, I think it's sad to say. I'm pretty sure I got a picture with him, but I think my ex was in it, and now we're fine. I would love to have that picture, but I think I deleted it after like we broke up. And
See,
So
come
it's
out
lost.
here soon because I know some of the theaters here for the 20th anniversary are gonna have Greg Sesteros do some live showings.
anyway, there's some plans. I don't know. I gotta go to Texas. We'll see. I'm not going to Florida like I thought at the end of the year. I'll tell you about that later, JD. But
I mean, no one
But-
should go to Florida. Arguably,
Oh.
no one should go to Texas, but I'm here.
well, Florida has doing some fuck shit with anime cons too. That's not the reason why I'm not going, but it's another reason why you shouldn't. I was going for convention, but now they're having all that Florida stuff. Anyway, what am I saying? That's it. See you next Tuesday.
Thank our
I don't know what
patrons
next Tuesday's
or-
episode is. We'll see what it is. He already told me she can't do it, so I have to think of a plan B, and we'll see. Peace out.
Hey,
Love you.
thank you to our patron Ed.
Thank you, Patron Ed. Saw him at Fanime. He was cool. He went to the panels. Love you. Support.
Yeah.
Thanks for the support. Please support us.
Thank you for
Patreon.
the support.
Peace.